Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Miley. I am so glad you're here. My husband Eric and I have this little bitty cute YouTube channel that we started just a couple of months ago. If you like lifestyle vlogs by an introvert and a super geeky podcaster, then maybe this is the spot for you. So if you like this video and want to see more videos like it, or if you like any of our other videos, don't forget to subscribe and press the little bell notification so that you know every time we post. Without further ado, let's get into today's video, which I'm sure you're itching to find out why I have 15 credit cards. Wow, credit cards is a topic I could talk about for hours. So apologies in advance if this video is 45 minutes long. Just kidding. I'll really try hard not to make it 45 minutes long. But I do have a lot to say on this topic because I have spent years and years and years researching how to make the most of credit cards. Credit cards can be very scary and overwhelming. So I'm gonna cover a lot of information in this video. And please let me know down in the comments below if you want to hear specifically about a certain topic that I touch on today. I would love to know if you're interested in other videos like this or not. If not, it's okay. I'll keep making other videos that I like to film too. But if you do like this, let me know because I have a lot more to say on this topic than I'll even cover in this video. And honestly, a lot more to say about budgeting and finances for your household in general that won't be in this video. So if you want to see more like that, let me know. Okay, so let's jump right in. The first thing I want to start with is going over some commonly used credit card jargon that took me a long time to understand what the heck it meant, okay? The first thing that you'll hear me say a lot in this video is APR. APR stands for annual percentage rate. Your APR is the percentage of your credit card balance that you are charged per year. A typical APR is anywhere from 10 to 25%. That doesn't mean that every month you are charged 24% on your credit card balance. It means that whatever balance you have at the end of your monthly period, they take 24% of that and divide it by 12 to give you your monthly interest charge. Okay, another thing to talk about is available credit. When you apply for a credit card and are approved, you are assigned a credit limit. A credit limit is the amount of money that they feel comfortable lending you based on your credit score and lots of other factors. And you can't go over that credit limit unless you want to pay a lot of money or not be able to use your card. Another thing to talk about is revolving utilization. Revolving utilization is the amount of credit that you have versus the amount of debt on that credit that you use. So for example, if I have 5 credit cards and each credit card has a $1,000 limit, that means my total credit is $5,000. If I have $500 on each one of those credit cards, that means I have $2,500 in debt. So $2,500 in debt for a credit limit of a total of $5,000 would mean a 50% revolving utilization. That's pretty high. Revolving utilization is the single most important part of your credit score. It makes up 30% of your credit score, which is the biggest factor in determining how good or bad your credit is. You want to have the lowest possible revolving utilization without having no revolving utilization, because that's not great either. So for example, my revolving utilization is about 22% right now. It fluctuates between 15 and 25% depending on what time of the month it is, what big purchases I've made, what I've paid off. The number to shoot to stick under is 30% revolving utilization. That means you only use 30% of the credit that is available to you. Ideally, you want to be at like 10%. That's one of my goals, is to get my revolving utilization down to 10%, which is like a lot. That means I'm only using 10% of the total credit that I have. Okay, so I'm already hitting you with definitions and things that involve math and numbers and big words. And honestly, it took me a long time to understand what everything was and how to utilize it. So those are just a few things that you'll hear me say. So now you know at least a little bit what those things mean. So I want to jump in first to talk about a couple of really awesome cards to apply for if you've never gotten into credit cards before. The very first one that I would totally recommend is the Discover It card. If you don't apply for any credit card but that one, you'll be in great shape. It's super easy to use, and it has some really great benefits that are pretty low risk and high reward. So let me tell you a little bit about it. The Discover It card is a cash back benefit system. For every dollar that you spend, you get 1% of that dollar back in cash, free money, literally no strings attached. So that means that if you put a tank of gas into your car for $40, you will get 40 cents back on that purchase. Not only does Discover offer 1% cash back on all purchases, but throughout the year, they have a calendar of special 5% promos. Every 3 months, they have a new promo that comes out. So it might be that from January to March, all purchases at grocery stores in the US are eligible for 5% cash back. So if you go to the grocery store and spend $40 on groceries, you wouldn't just get 40 cents back, you would get $2 back. That's a big difference. So the 5% cash back promo offerings happen throughout the year at Discover. They change, I believe, 4 times. So you can really rack up a lot of cash back by utilizing not just the 1% on all your purchases, but the 5% promo offerings. The best part about especially your first year with Discover is that at the end of your first year, they match all of the cash back that you earned. That's insane, you guys. At the end of my first year with the Discover It card, I had about $600 in cash back that I had earned throughout that year. That's $600 of free money that I got just because I used my credit card. But the best part was that Discover matched that $600 and actually gave me $1,200 back in cash back in my first year of using that card. Literally a free $1,200. What would you do with $1,200 extra dollars? Now, some of you may be thinking it's free money, but you've paid interest on your credit card. No. Another great thing about the Discover It card is that in your first at least 12 months, I think some accounts even you can get up to 24 months, you have a 0% APR, annual percentage rate, which means that for the first 12 months, let's say for example, you don't have to pay any interest on your card. That means that you can carry over a balance on your card from month to month as long as you don't exceed your credit limit, and they don't charge you interest. So the Discover It card is totally awesome. It's very easy to get approved for. Even if you're a student, they have a student version of the Discover It card. So I highly recommend that. It is definitely a great benefits program, and it also has a $0 annual fee. So you don't have to pay any sort of fee to maintain your account like you do with some other credit cards. A couple other really great first-time cards worth mentioning are the Capital One Quicksilver card and the Citi Simplicity card. I would look into those as well. Now I want to talk about all the different credit card benefits or rewards to consider. So there are a couple different categories of credit card rewards. We've already talked about a few of them. We've got the 0% APR for a certain time period. Usually it's anywhere between 6 months to 48 months even. I've seen some cards. So that's really great if you are a person that makes a lot of big purchases that needs time to pay things off, or if you are moving into a really expensive time in your life, like maybe you're about to have a baby or you're getting married or you've just moved to a new house and you've got a lot of upcoming big expenses. Getting a card with 0% APR for 12 months or 24 months ensures that you have a long time to make payments toward those big items without having to pay any extra money on interest. Another awesome credit card reward to consider is cash back. So most cards offer at least 1% cash back. Some specialize in certain areas. So like a grocery card, maybe you'd get 1% cash back on all purchases, but at a grocery store, you'd get 5%. It's a great way to literally earn free money. Another reward that some people really love are airline miles. It's really common for credit cards to offer airline miles in exchange for purchases being made. And honestly, I'm not very familiar with this reward because I find other rewards more enticing. Do your own research on how that works. I don't have a lot of insight there other than I find it more important to choose other rewards when looking for cards, but maybe you travel a lot and miles would be the perfect thing and would save you so much money. So really consider the type of purchases you make and what kind of reward aligns best with those purchases. If you're the kind of person that just likes to save as much money as possible, definitely cashback is for you. That's the area I most commonly land in, is I just want free money. And if you're gonna give me free money and I'm gonna be responsible and pay off my balance so that I don't have to spend any of that free money on interest payments to you, then I'll take the free money. Another thing to consider is a credit card's annual fee. So I believe that none of my 15 credit cards have annual fees, but a lot of credit cards, especially if they are more exclusive credit cards, have anywhere between a $50 annual fee to a $500 annual fee. So when looking for rewards, it's ideal to double up or even triple up on what a credit card offers you. So maybe you're considering the choice between a credit card that offers 5% cash back on all purchases, or a credit card that offers 3% cash back on all purchases, but also a $0 annual fee and 0% APR for 24 months. You're probably going to get more out of those rewards than you would just one reward category in cashback. So you want to look for, number one, what you spend a lot of your money on and what reward you think you would get the greatest return for. And number two, what combined reward offerings a credit card has. If you are thinking, okay, that's great, Miley, but I don't have a lot of extra money to just start buying things on credit cards, that's okay. You don't need to have a lot of extra money. All you need to do to earn rewards is take some of your typical monthly purchases and move them to your credit cards. So electric, gas, water, internet. Those are 4 bills every month that most everybody has. So you just have to switch your payment method on your bills each month to your credit card. Then you can always count on rewards for that certain amount of money. So for example, if your total internet, water, gas, and electric bills are, let's say, $700, that's $700 that you know is always going to be on your credit card account every month. You're used to paying that $700 anyway. It will get paid no matter what. So you charge your bills on your credit card, you turn around and immediately pay off that credit card, and you haven't just paid $700, you have also earned anywhere between 1% and 5% cash back, which means that overall for the entire year, you're saving at least 1% to 5% total on your bills. 700 times 12 is a lot of money, and that equates to a lot of money in 1% to 5% cash back if you just put them on your credit card and pay them on your credit card instead of paying them directly to whatever corporation you're currently giving your money to. Another tip is your monthly grocery bill. For example, for me, in my house, we spend $400 a month on groceries. So instead of going to the grocery store every week and paying cash for my groceries, I have a Costco City card, which is a partnership between City and Costco for their members. I had to apply and be approved for it, but once I was approved, I used that Costco card, not just at Costco, but also on all my grocery purchases throughout the month. So that's $400 every month, at least, sometimes it's a little over, that goes on that Costco card for my monthly groceries that I have cash in hand for because it's like a bill that I immediately turn around and pay off the Costco card, so I don't accrue any interest. But then Costco gives me 2% cash back on all my purchases and 4% cash back on gas and groceries at Costco. They give you reward certificates that can only be used at Costco. And this for us was totally worth it because of the frequency that we do shop at Costco. Every purchase and the cash back that you earn on it, that goes into your reward certificate account. And you get paid out on that at the end of every year. It's the beginning of August. So it's been 6 months that we have utilized this Costco card in this year. So for these first 6 months out of the whole year, we have earned over $200 in Costco grocery rewards, which means we could probably count on another $200 at least by the end of December, which would mean $400 total in Costco rewards, which equates to, if you heard me say my grocery budget, which is $400 a month, that means that we are getting a whole months worth of groceries for free, literally for free. And like I said, because I already have that $400 cash to turn around and pay my Costco card off every month, I don't have to pay any interest. And so that's literally free money that I can turn into free groceries for the month of December or January, whenever I want to use it. So now let's talk about some do's and some don'ts with credit cards. First, pay off your card every month. Pay off your card every month. If you pay off your card every month before the date that interest accrues, and yes, the date that interest accrues is different than the due date of your credit card, make sure you know that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Do pay off your card each month before interest is accrued, and you will never have to pay a credit card in interest. How do you do that? You say, how do you ensure that you have a 0% balance? Here's another do. Account for every single dollar that you put on credit cards and make sure that you have cash to back it up. Don't be spending willy-nilly, okay? Especially in situations where you are making a big purchase with a credit card that's going to take you multiple months to pay off. Make sure you have a plan and a budget for how you're going to accomplish that, and every single cent that it's going to take in actual physical cash to pay it off, or else you're going to get yourself into trouble. Another do is to apply for credit cards knowing that you will not use them. This comes back to revolving utilization. The more credit you have available, the better your revolving utilization is. Remember, we want to stick to between 10 and 30% tops in revolving utilization. So that means that if you have credit cards with a zero balance, but a limit of $5,000, that's $5,000 that's sitting there that you're not using, but that you could use if you needed it. That's what helps build your credit score. So you want to apply for credit cards that you know you're not going to use so that their limit can just sit there in credit to enhance your credit score. Whoa. My next do is do whatever it takes not to impulse spend. If you're the kind of person that is super thrifty and can save so much money, great. Get all the credit cards you want because you probably will not have any problems with wanting to swipe. If you are like me and enjoy shopping and buying things and the thrill of the swipe, listen close. Do whatever it takes to not impulse spend. Don't be racking up money on that credit card that you can't pay for. Listen, these are some things you can do if you really need a lot of help in self-control. Fill up a Tupperware container of water. Put your credit card in the middle of it. Put it in the freezer so that your card is literally frozen in a block of ice, and you will only smash it open when you absolutely have to if it is an actual emergency. Lock your credit card up in a safe that you keep in your house. Shove it under your mattress. Put it anywhere where you totally forget about it until a situation arises that's a real emergency where you might actually need it to pay for something that you're not counting on. Okay, another do that I have to do, because like I said in this thumbnail, I literally have 15 credit cards. Track your credit cards in a spreadsheet. And I don't just mean the names of your credit cards. I mean, put the name of your credit card, put the limit on your credit card, put the due date on your credit card, put the date that interest accrues on your credit card, because yes, that date is different. For example, my Discover card, my due date is the 16th, but the end of my billing cycle is the 11th, which means that if I pay off my balance by my due date on the 16th, it's too late and I've been charged interest. I have to pay off my credit card by the end of my billing cycle on the 11th to not accrue interest. So make sure that you know that date and that your balance is always paid off by that date. Honestly, if you just forget your due date completely and only focus on the date that is the end of your billing cycle instead, and always make your payments by 5 p.m. ideally on that day or even before, you'll be golden. You'll never be charged interest. So remember that date. Another thing to keep track of in a spreadsheet is your APR. And not just your APR, not just your 12% or 20% or 24% annual rate, but the date that your 0% APR, if you have it, expires so that you know the date that you have to have your full balance paid off by before you start earning interest on whatever's left. Does that make sense? I hope so. Another thing to do is if you have absolutely no intention of using a credit card and you're literally only applying for the credit card so that you can increase your amount of credit, cut that card up. I have 15 credit cards, like I've said 4 times and have not explained. I will explain it in this point. You guys, I turned on the light. What a miracle for this light that's fading outside. I have credit cards that I use specifically for groceries. I have credit cards that I use specifically for purchasing things on Amazon. I have credit cards that I use specifically for booking vacations to Disney World. I have credit cards for paying bills. I have credit cards for lots of things, okay? But what I don't have is a lot of debt. I probably use 2 of the 15 credit cards every single month. The rest of them I use occasionally or not at all. I probably have at least half, so maybe 6 or 7, literally cut up, and I have no access to them. I don't know the numbers to be able to just type in online and purchase. I don't have the physical card to swipe. I literally have nothing except my login information for my actual account so that I can monitor it if a situation occurred where I was ever, hacked or something. But I literally could not use the credit available to me on those credit cards. That's how serious I am about building my freaking available credit and managing my revolving utilization to affect my credit score in a positive way. I will say of the 2 that I use regularly, those 2 I make sure every single end of the billing cycle on each one, they are paid off completely so that I do not pay interest. And that's just how we do it. We keep that many credit cards for revolving utilization, for building my credit score and making it better, for making everyday purchases that I would be using cash anyway in order to earn rewards, and occasionally for really big purchases that we need time to help pay off. So before we end, I'm going to talk about just a few ways that you should not use credit cards. So these are my don'ts. Cancel any credit card accounts. Like I mentioned, you want your available credit to be as high as possible, which means even if you have a credit card that has $0 due on it and you haven't used it in 2 years, the worst thing you could do for yourself is cancel that credit card because you don't use it, because that limit goes away and you don't get to count it for your available credit, which is very important to your credit score, once again. Another thing not to do, if you can help it, is freeze your account. The freeze your account tool can be really helpful if you've gotten yourself into an interest pit of despair. That helps you manage your debt when it is becoming unmanageable. But you should only use the freeze account feature when you are really at that point. Okay, another don't is don't just pay the minimum amount due each month, because basically it means you're going to be paying the maximum amount of interest possible for the foreseeable future. Every credit card statement has a little box on it. This little box will show you how much debt you will have, how much interest you will accrue, and how many years it will take you to completely pay off your current balance if you put no more money on your card by only paying the minimum amount due. Sometimes this can be like thousands of dollars in interest alone and years and years and years to pay it off. This little box also shows you, based on your current balance, how much interest you would pay and what your monthly payment would be if you wanted to pay your card off in 3 years. So say you've gotten yourself into a situation where you have done that impulse spending and you've put too much on your card and you're sinking and you need to start thinking about how you're going to pay off this credit card debt in order to make your credit score increase and get to a better place financially. Then if you cannot pay off that balance with large amounts of money every month to pay it off as soon as possible, then I would recommend, in that situation specifically, making that 3-year suggested payment instead of the minimum payment, because it allows you to pay a little bit more, but save yourself sometimes thousands of dollars in interest and pay off your card in 3 years as opposed to 15, like some situations are when you do the minimum payments. Another don't. Don't apply for a lot of credit cards at once. This whole credit card game, it's taken me years to figure out. And if you think that you are in the next year going to accumulate 15 credit cards, don't try it. Don't try it. It will only lead to bad things. Number one, you probably won't get approved for 15 credit cards in 1 year. Number two, there's this thing called credit inquiries that affects your credit score. So the more credit cards you apply for, the more dings you get on your credit inquiry. It's because the more dings you have on credit inquiry, the more desperate you look to accumulate credit, which basically just looks like you can't afford with cash all of your expenses. So you need to apply for lots of credit cards to be able to cover your expenses, even if that very well may not be the case. That's how the credit inquiry on your credit score is monitored. Another thing not to do is to spend too quickly when you're too close to your limit. You never want to get close to your credit card limit, okay? Especially in the same month. If you rack up a lot of charges that get you really close to your limit, that's a real red flag to credit card companies, and they can and they will reduce your limit. And that will leave you sometimes with zero available credit or even a negative available credit, which means you owe them your credit because you've gone over. Those are just some simple do's and don'ts of credit cards, and overall, some tips and tricks on how to use credit cards, how to beat the system, how to avoid interest, and how to literally earn free money on credit cards. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I should probably go before my light gets any darker. And don't forget to subscribe. All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!